Greetings, friends. Thank you for joining me in this video update experiment and wishing you the warmest wishes of this holiday season. As you can tell, we're in the Christmas spirit, and there's even a fire in the fireplace next to me, which I won't show you because that'll mess up my screen. But thank you again for joining me, and I want to give you a bird's eye view of the ministry as I see it. I've been in this regional director role now for a year and a half. And so I want to share some encouragements. I want to share some concerns, and along with our financial update, and ask you to pray with us and partner with us. And so let's start with the Mid-Atlantic region. Our region is on about 53 campuses right now. We have about 70 paid staff and handfuls of volunteers. And here is the Mid-Atlantic region. So the region is most of Pennsylvania, Delaware, Maryland, and the District of Columbia. So one of the areas of encouragement has been seeing just a spirit of experimentation and planting across this region. We have adopted InterVarsity's 2030 calling, which is longing for revival. We catalyze movements that call every corner of every campus to follow Jesus. And for us, that means 150 campuses in this region that we are present on over 50. That doesn't mean we need to reach all 100, but we're exploring and praying and doing prayer walks. And it's been amazing, the unprecedented kind of effort of planting that I'm seeing. Last year, we saw a handful of new campuses reached. This year, we're going to see a handful more already in the fall. There's stories like a staff doing a prayer walk at Penn State York and meeting students there that end up becoming a new chapter of InterVarsity. A staff who took students from the chapter she was leading to a neighboring campus, Wilson College, where they did a prayer walk, and they met pastors and church leaders that had been praying for that campus and were hoping that InterVarsity would be the answer to that prayer. There's now an official student group there. God is on the move, and we're just trying to keep up with him in this region. And it's been a lesson for me of just being open to his leadership. And one of the areas that I've seen that where I've partnered more closely is up in northern Pennsylvania. So our region is pretty strong in our urban centers, DC, Baltimore, Pennsylvania. Historically, we've done pretty well. At times, we've neglected our rural areas, and almost half of the schools that we're not present on, of the 150, exist in northern Pennsylvania. And so let me just show you. This is a map of all of our schools. The circles mean schools that we don't have an InterVarsity chapter. The stars mean chapters that we do have, campuses we do have chapters. And the different colors are the different areas. And so up here is in northern Pennsylvania. And what started this was I took our senior leadership team, and we just drove through most of these schools up in northern PA. And we came out of that sensing some opportunity in the Scranton area, which is northeastern Pennsylvania. And so after talking to the area director, who was already thinking and praying with his team about that part of his area, we started trying to meet with people. And one thing has led to the next, and we've met churches in the area who see a need for us to come. We have 2 campuses where they're asking for us to coach them on campus. There's students on 2 different campuses that have invited InterVarsity to resource them, and we're building a relationship with them. And we've my regional advisory council has developed a funding base to send staff, and so we've seen door after door open. And so we've just been praying for a staff who who wants to go, or staff who's from there who wants to work with InterVarsity. Well, 2 weeks ago, a staff in suburban Philly said yes to taking his family, his 1-year-old baby, and move up to Scranton to plant an area in that space. And so there are about 10 schools just in the Scranton Wilkes-Barre area, and we just ask for you to pray as they're preparing and thinking and praying about this move that will happen next summer. So another unexpected piece of this journey that we've been doing. The last encouragement is more of a nerdy one from a regional director's office, and that is I've done a restructure of our regional leadership team. And so what used to be a hierarchical kind of approach that had certain flat sides, and that we didn't have enough people who could implement things, and we didn't have enough voices in the room to have a diversity of perspectives. I have established 5 teams around one regional priority. So they're each going to be working on a regional priority, and I will be working with the leaders of those teams, and that group of people will have authority and will have vision to move that priority ahead. I'm really excited about the opportunity to have more people in the room and to have a greater diversity of people. We'll even have some campus staff members who we need to hear their voice in those leadership discussions as well. So that's the other thing that's encouraging. 3 areas of concern. One is we are struggling to know how to reach a new generation. So as you know, probably you've heard of the iGen or the Gen Zers, which is basically freshmen and sophomores in college right now and then coming in. I know my son is one of these folks, and so you would think I would know and understand this generation well, but parenting a teenager, I'm always behind. But anyway, so the traditional things that we've done, especially in our fall outreach events, are not reaching these folks as well. And it's not something that we're only seeing in the region. It's been a national trend. And so you can pray for us to figure out how to connect with this new generation. Another area of concern is just funding, specifically how to fund staff who come in with a low network of a funding base, because we utilize a personal funding model. Many of our staff candidates don't have the kind of funding base that is needed to raise a full-time salary. For instance, of our 5 new staff interns this year, only one of them has a pretty strong funding base coming in. The other 4 have severe to moderately weak funding bases that are going to make it a longer process for them, but also we'll have to figure out other ways to get them funded from area funds, regional funds, and we're working on those things. But that's just a problem that's been around for a while that we're really feeling the weight of right now. Another area is just staffing in general. What we want to really develop is our volunteer staff network, where we have legitimate pathways for volunteers to volunteer significant amounts of time. So if you're near a campus and want to jump in, talk to us, talk to me. We think our alumni are really great candidates for this, but we've also seen retired folks come and volunteer significant amounts of time. And so that's an area of concern. It's one of the regional priorities that we're working on, that this steering committee will be working on. But if you would pray with us to grow that and be open to new models of volunteer ministry. And lastly, just our funding update is because a larger role for me, because of rising health costs, our target budget is $13,000 more than it was last year. So we're praying for gifts to come in at the year end that will help us meet that so we could start 2020 in a strong place. If you've given in the past in December, and you can give beyond what you've given in the past, ask you to consider that. Also, if you haven't started giving, if you've been getting our prayer letters and been praying for us, we just invite you to start giving. Either start in 2020, start monthly giving, or start with a year-end gift. Ask you to consider that too. Just want to say, I appreciate you all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your prayers. Email me any questions you have from this or any feedback. Love to just hear if this is a good thing to keep doing. So blessings, everyone.